caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the...
What's up, guys? Lance the Obscure Movie Guy coming to you once again with another fun-filled, fact-filled video that you probably won't care about, but we're going to do it anyways, trying to change the world one post at a time. Now, if you've been following me, which you should, you might remember a video for a film review that I did many months back for Ed Kemper, based off of the serial killer from the 70s, Ed Kemper. One of my most watched videos. It's actually a really good film. Probably not one that I'll watch ever again, but definitely a really good film. Check it out. It is currently available on streaming platforms, and then go watch my review. But I bring that up because I'm here to tell you about a new film from the same director, Chad Farren, based off of some serial killers in the early 1980s, once again in California, around the Van Nuys area. So today we are talking about the Sunset Strip Killers.
Well, it's another lovely New Year's Eve here in sunny California.
Why so blue on New Year's Eve?
Police confirm the same .25 caliber pistol is the one used in the Sunset Strip slayings. They've been terrorizing Los Angeles for recent months.
What do you do, Miss Carol?
I'm a nurse. You?
I'm a sound engineer. Now that's a good-looking couple.
Do I look okay?
Now you look extra beautiful. I agree to obey any order from my master. I submit to any punishment my master sees fit.
Figures you'd fall in with a lunatic. Two peas in a pod.
Do you believe in true love? The real love means everything.
Get ready for 1980! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
My ultimate fantasy is to have the woman I love kill for me. Come with me next time.
Sounds liberating. We got ourselves a special chromosome.
Baby, am I having a blast?
Ever pick up a prostitute?
What's that got to do with Carol?
It's fun to kill.
So the movie, The Sunset Strip Killers, is based off of the very real Sunset Strip Killers. Try saying that 10 times fast. Again, based out of California in essentially 1980. Carol Bundy and Doug Clark were very real people that did some very heinous things and had a very toxic and tumultuous relationship. And that's basically what this film centers around, is how they met and the sequence of events that happened thereafter leading up to their arrest. So Chad Farren's produced and directed this one. Ed Kemper, he wrote and directed. So it kind of he's finding a very niche market in doing real life crime, which honestly, after watching Ed Kemper and watching this, humans are absolutely the real monsters. But this film opens up. It's got a relatively very quick opening sequence where you see Doug Clark shooting a couple girls in the back of the head. You jump into the title card and then straight into the plot line of basically the night of which Carol Bundy and Doug Clark meet. And just the relationship there that follows. This film's it's brutal, mostly because it is factual. And I will give Chad a lot of credit and the writers a lot of credit in that regard. it is fairly accurate as well in regards to the people that were involved, the sequences in which they happened, how they were killed. Now, I will say that there's a lot to the whole story of Doug Clark and Carol Bundy. No relation to Ted Bundy, which they also make that joke in the film. She might as well have been psychopath. But I will say, in regards to, and this is kind of normal with a lot of biopics, in order to try and fit all of the key sequences into the film, sometimes you have to combine a few of them. So I will say that if you're familiar with the Sunset Strip Killers, or if you look into them after watching this film, you might notice that everything's there in the movie. It's just some things are there together as opposed to being two separate instances in real life. They kind of had to combine some of the things for runtime, which we're going to dive into a little bit further into this video. But this is a really well executed film. I think Chad Farron did a great job directing it. It's written well. The production quality is top notch. There's no issues as far as audio, visual. The acting is really well done. The editing is really good. The music, I loved the choice of music throughout the course of this film. It was very fitting for any and all of the scenes. And then, of course, special effects. I mean, again, we have Joe Castro, who I've talked about on this platform before. Really interesting guy. I got to work with him on The Morning Architect from Joe Hallow, so that's kind of cool. And just seeing him work in real life and watching a film like this, like, again, the authenticity to some of these special effects and the bodies is just a real creep factor in how it's executed. And again, it brings some validity to the film itself, being like, holy crap, this is a little too real in some sequences. I think Chad Farron as a director does an incredible job of maximizing what he can get out of his actors and actresses. Brandon Kirk, who was Ed Kemper in Ed Kemper, just an unbelievable portrayal of the human being. And again, we're getting that with these two characters. Doug Clark, played by Max E. Williams, and then Carol Bundy, played by Susan Priver. And if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. But again, he's able to like extract so much out of these actors and really push them to their limits and the bounds of which they're willing to go to bring a character to life. It's just incredible. That's really my biggest takeaway from this film. Much like Ed Kemper is the acting. You know, as far as like the settings and the scenery, I mean, it's all kind of done in and around the same area. A lot of it does look fairly familiar in some parts of the Ed Kemper film, but I mean, that's a lot of California to begin with. You have these rolling hills. You know, you've got these back alleys. I mean, it could be LA, it could be San Francisco, it could be Van Nuys, it could be anything. But based on the Sunset Strip, which is where the killings took place in real life, I mean, I think they did a real good job of getting like setting and scenery accuracy to in which what happened back in 1980. But Chad Farron, again, does an incredible job of just maximizing what actors he has to really portray these characters. And the relationship, you know, between, I mean, the on-screen chemistry is just ridiculous. They did such a good job, Susan and Max, portraying these characters. It's really impressive the way they were able to execute these characters. And the real life toxicity of the relationship from the actual killers, I don't know how these people even manage to stay around one another. It's a very love-hate relationship, and in some cases they love to hate each other and just love to hate people. Very complex characters. So amazing job by Max and Susan and Chad for just extracting everything out of one another to bring these characters to life. If I had anything negative to say about this film, realistically, honestly, it's the runtime, and it's only 90 minutes. This is a film that Now, look, I don't know all the details about the film. I have a feeling they were trying to, that was their target time, was to try and cut the film down to 90 minutes because there is a lot to explore with the relationship of these two people. But I feel like probably for distribution reasons or studio reasons, whatever the case may be, I have a feeling that they were trying to cut it down to 90 minutes. So there is some things that are left unexplored. What I would have loved to have seen is a little bit more exploration into the background of these characters and why they're so completely messed up in the head to begin with. Now, you can obviously read about them online, and doing a quick internet search, you find out that Carol unfortunately grew up in an abusive home. I believe her mother died when she was 11. Father started to abuse her after that. And then he remarried shortly thereafter, put her in foster care where she got abused some more by each and every family, it seemed like. And at 17, she was, basically out on the street. She had 3 failed marriages, which they do reference when when Doug meets Carol, that she is just coming off of a divorce. But it was, in fact, her 3rd divorce. She had 2 children with a previous marriage. And Doug, completely out of his mind, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, necrophilia. So I would have liked to have seen the film be a little bit longer to explore the background of those characters a little bit and why they are the way they are. But there was a lot of focus on the relationship of them meeting and how they went about these killings. So it didn't take anything away from the story, and it certainly didn't take anything away from those 2 characters doing what they were doing in 1980. It just would have been kind of cool to explore the background of their mental state and why they were doing those things. And unfortunately, people that do crazy things often come from broken homes like that. So, but again, I think they were trying to cut the film down to 90 minutes. I'm willing to bet somewhere and hopefully down the line that there's a director's cut, because there's probably a lot of that stuff that is available that they just didn't put into the film. Other than that, I don't have anything else negative to say about this film as far as the way it was produced and presented. Any other negative connotations I would have is just the nature of the context in and of itself. It's hard to watch, especially if you don't do well with essay stuff like I do. So again, much like Ed Kemper, an incredible film, very well executed, brilliant acting, great directing. Unfortunately, probably not a film I'm going to watch again just because of the nature of the context, but not because it's a bad film. It's a really good film. And if you're into true life crime and some real life serial killers, Ed Kemper, Ted Bundy, BTK, all them freaks, Ed Gein, this is another really good one to watch, and actually one that's a little bit lesser known than some of those other ones, which is, I don't want to say it's cool, but it's kind of cool to see Chad Farron and his writers kind of tackling something that's a little bit lesser known on a national scale. Obviously, if you're from California, you've probably heard of the Sunset Strip Killers, but not so much on a national scale. I mean, we've all heard of BTK, Ted Bundy, and Ed Kemper, Jeffrey Dahmer, but this is one of those ones that's a little lesser known, but just as impactful. I believe there was a total of 9 victims that they know of. Could have been more. 7 of which were accounted to Doug, 2 which were accredited to Carol. But it's interesting to see a different facet of serial killers, if you will. So really well executed. Now this is going to be coming to streaming platforms. So this is actually going to get a small theatrical release on July 10th, and I think it's going to run through the weekend. And then on July 14th, it is going to be available streaming video on demand. So if you can catch it in the theaters, I don't know if it would be a good thing to watch in the theater, but it's definitely cool that it's getting a theatrical release, especially something that is tackling this type of content. Obviously, this is probably an independent film or from a very small studio. This isn't anything that major Hollywood would ever try to tackle. You're not going to see this released by, Universal or Warner Brothers or Paramount, any of that crap. They don't want to touch stuff like this. So good on Chad Farron and his band of merry men for tackling something that is this sadistic. And I think the worst part of that being is like, it's because it is real. This crap really happened. So I think it's cool that it is getting a small theatrical release. It's going to be limited run, obviously, for the weekend, limited in a number of theaters. You can definitely look it up online, see if you can get tickets in your area. I think it's being released through Epic. And again, July 14th, it'll be available on streaming platforms. So again, if you're into true life crime, check this one out. I would also go back and check out Ed Kemper from Chad Farron as well. Both really well made movies, both creepy, but incredibly well acted and incredibly well directed. So Chad, awesome job. Again, shout out to Joe Castro for his special effects, and again, had a really good time working with the guy. He's a very interesting guy to talk to. And I know he had a good time, doing this film. This is his bread and butter. He loves these special effects that he does in these films. So shout out to him as well. Guys, like, subscribe, and comment on my YouTube channel. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I'll see everybody in the next video.